It is a right that can be legislated and it can be taken away. So it's not absolute. Okay, which one? Another person? Right to? Yes, madam. Shout. Right to freedom. Oh, okay. Every answer is correct. Which other one? Right to information. What if it's of national security and personal data? Yes?
I'm not sure you can limit the
Right
right to dignity.
to dignity.
Dignity of the person.
But all rights promote dignity. All rights promote dignity. Right to privacy. What if you're a criminal? Will you tell me as a police officer or a law enforcement officer that I cannot enter your premises because of your privacy?
Security of the person.
Security of the person. In what way? Now, let me help you. There are 4 rights that can never be taken away. Number 1, you have the right to fair trial, where you can never be condemned and hurt. Even if you're the worst of the worst. Even if I saw you murder somebody and I take you to court, you must be hurt. The second one is you have of this very, in recent times in this country, you've heard of habeas corpus. Anyone who have heard of habeas corpus? Habeas corpus produce the person either dead or alive. No one, hakuna kupotea, huwezi kupotea. Even if you've been abducted and you've gotten lost, you must be found. And the person who is always held responsible is the state. Number 3, you heard of another one called freedom from torture, cruel and degrading. Freedom from torture, cruel and degrading treatment. That's the reason why you will always see most lawyers, when they have one of their worst criminals, they always want to play around the issue of my client was tortured to a confession, so that that confession does not hold. And if you get a very bad judge, as a prosecution, that person can be released. They will say you tortured the person. It's an international crime. The 4th one, torture, cruel and degrading treatment. So I've mentioned fair trial, I've mentioned habeas corpus, and then I'm mentioning torture, cruel and degrading treatment. The last one is, anyone who can guess? Yes? Exactly. Freedom from slavery and servitude. Freedom from slavery and servitude. You can never justify that by law or by any other way possible. You can never. You understand what servitude means? Servitude. Where this guy here, alikuwa na deni yangu, he has 200,000 debt. Then I capture him and I tell him, my friend, if you're not going to pay me, you will look after my cows for the next 6 months. If I'm paying you 10,000, that is 20 months. Without pay until my date is, that is servitude. You can actually go to jail for it for a very long time. Now let me come to this monster in our country. I don't want to talk about other countries, but allow me to confine myself in the Republic of Kenya. This thing, should I call it a thing? Because it's very, sometimes people even claim they do not understand corruption. Why do we have corruption in Kenya? Do we have it because we want it? Do we have it because it is just part of our DNA? Or because we have what we call a breakdown of law and order, a breakdown of structures, a breakdown of values, a breakdown of... In the morning I was listening to the family session moderated by the moderator before me. Do we still have our family values, our education systems? Why do we have corruption? And why does it make someone so happy that if I take away 20 million from a public offer and I go away, nothing will happen? And the people where I come from are happy. You've heard of this thing of Mudwetu, still? How many of us understand Swahili here? All of us. So the reason why I'm asking is because of this is a communication conference. You need to communicate to everybody. So you've heard of this very interesting statement in Kenya called Mudwetu, where the person can rob and then come home, put up a nice house, host a party, and then when you hear anti-corruption commission is after him, people come up and say, ni mtu wenu. Why is it that? Now, as I said, I don't want to define corruption, but some people look at corruption from very many lenses. Personally, I look at it from bribery. I look at it from influence peddling. I look at it from embezzlement. Bribery is just, in simple terms, kuchota. Sindio? Inaitwa kwa lugha ya mtaa, kuchota. Kuchota upate kile unachotaka. Influence peddling. You've heard of this story of, I know so and so. He can help you. But there's a way lazima nifikie. You understand what he's trying to tell you? There's a way I need to ndio nifikie. You've heard of people who say, niko na namba yake. Dials. By good luck it goes through. And then they say, boss, nitakutafuta. So it makes you have this faith that this person knows this person I need. Therefore, this person is doing what we call influence peddling. I know the president. Senor, you've heard of some people who, in their offices, and allow me to use this example, for those who are security don't suggest. Long time ago, you will take a picture with the police commissioner or the chief of defense officers, and you frame it in your office, no like. There are others who will take with the head of state. So when an anti-corruption comes to that office, or any officer who is enforcing the law, akiona that picture, you will hear a very voice. We were passing by, we were looking, they will not mention the office. We were looking for a very different office. And then he will get out and say, hey, you call your boss and say, Mkubwa, I think hapo ni wayamo. Reason is, there is a picture that has a connotation of influence and power. When actually, even the head of state has no idea The CDM has no idea. The police commission has no idea. But that picture was taken at the right moment. I don't know if you have seen that. For those who go to church every Sunday, whenever there's a big man, a head of state coming up, you will see some princely movement of journalists. Sorry for those journalists who are here. They have a target. That picture is very expensive. It's very expensive. There's one who took me one and he came and told me, and I will say it was from a national broadcasting. He told me very clearly, niko nayo na akanionyesha. And actually he went to check up zuri na mkopo. And he said 100,000. So I said 100,000. Kamwambia nione kwa ofisi. I think he closed his business in Kenya on Monday with big friends for me. So I told him, you see, you took a picture without my consent. The reason why I wanted you is so that we can agree on whether I sue you or you leave this picture. And my suing was for 2 million. So you choose. You took a picture without mine, and the data protection is clear. Where did I sign that you take my picture? So we had a compromise. So I gave him fair to go for it. Then there is the political corruption. You know political corruption. Political corruption is what we know in this country. And it is very rampant. It is actually the worst. And that's why you get the leaderships that we have. And I don't want to speak so much because I may affect some nerves because of political affiliations, which are actually right. I don't want to touch on your rights, but maybe to exercise my freedom of conscience as well as expression. As long as I don't break the law, I will say that some political leaderships use their political power, influence, because of gaining from the government. You hold somebody at ransom. You come to Parliament and say, this bill shall not pass. We as a party, we shall not support this bill. We demand 3 billion. Otherwise it will not pass. So imagine it's a finance bill. It has timelines. What do? Unachota, sio? And some of them do it shamelessly. I give you practical examples. A minister, let me say a cabinet secretary, was summoned to Mombasa, where we were seated. And this committee was very angry and said, how can you miss this meeting? Then they told him, it's now 12 o'clock. We want you here by 3. By 3 p.m. you should be here. How he made it, I do not know, but he made it. Then he was told, we want to understand this cash transfer. Why? In fact, in my constituency, people didn't get. Blah, blah, blah. Then he was given what we call as a serious tongue lash. Then after a few moments, he was pulled away by the chair of that committee. They had a discussion, and when he came back, I think they didn't remember that I was inside. So they said, honorable members, don't worry, the man has behaved. At least we will go home in 10. Not 10,000. 10 million each. And there were 80. So, how much is that? 180. The reason was simple. There was a legislation that was supposed to be passed. And the minister was trying hard to have it passed. But this committee has stuck with it. They are not moving it to the next stage until you see them. Okay? Now, The impact of this has affected our society so greatly that right now, if I ask you, which hospital do you go to? If you got sick today, and God forbid, this morning, it's almost afternoon, if you got sick now, which hospital do you trust? Today you uanguke hapo kwenye mfuko kwa bahati mbaya, alafu ambulance ikuja. What do you tell the ambulance guys? And I don't mean an ambulance belonging to a hospital. The ambulances that are freelance nowadays, and they are very dangerous. I will advise you. They are very dangerous because there are three duties. One is to capture you and take you to a hospital where they can get a commission. Number two, you risk your kidneys disappearing because they are in business of organ harvesting. And number three, some of them are just for purposes of moving illegal things, for purposes of easy, making order, very commission. Which hospital will you choose to go? Bagadiri Hospital? Mama Lucy? Nairobi Hospital? Coptic. Why Coptic? The services. You will go to Coptic because of services. That tells you that you do not trust the public hospitals. Public health in Kenya does not work. That's what all of us believe. But when you go to Kenyatta National Hospital, it's a big hospital, it's a referral hospital. But still people don't want to go there. The reason is simple. They say you will die. Why will you die? Because they believe, some people believe, the doctor is not serious. He's there but he's not serious. Then you ask, why is he not serious? They say, mshahara tu anapata kule. A consulting surgeon is getting 520. But akikupeleka Nairobi Hospital across the road, he will conduct a very nice surgery, take his time, talk to you nicely, everything. Then you give a fee note of $1 million for one patient. So if he gets 12 patients in a month, he has 12 million. So he becomes more connected with Nairobi Hospital and disconnected with where the employer, that is the citizen, has given him a basic. What does that tell us? It tells us that whenever we try to talk about widening the gap between the rich and the poor, it is a fallacy. Because you're not addressing the issues that affect the society, the population. You're addressing issues that affect segments. In fact, as a government, the policy is promotion of segregation and discrimination. Segregation in the sense that this one is rich and then I don't. This one is poor, ajipange na KNH, ajipange na Mama Lucy, ajipange na district, whatever. So, the health sector, because of corruption and because of issues of bribery and others, it has collapsed. And when a government tries to bring it up, it gets resistance from an already well-established private sector. An already well-established private sector. It becomes complex for a government now to say, and I'm not promoting SHA, but I will tell you, the running of SHA, I do not know how it was run, but the development of the law, I was involved. It was well done. And we did that thing for long. But I will tell you that it will not work very well because, yes, you want to provide social health in line with what the Kenyan people demanded in their constitution. And that's what I'm telling every citizen. When you read your constitution very well, Article 43 very clear. It says that every person, you have said the word every person, is entitled to the highest attainable standard of health. That is the law, that is the constitution. Now, how do you implement that? You need to tax people. Now, as you tax people, you need to be fair that they are getting the services from that tax. That's why the anger is this much, because somebody is being taxed and anasema nasioni chenye nafanyiwa. You also say you wanted affordable housing. In that category, it is there. This structure is what I think even my parents never paid that in my university education. I think the entire university education for me was 200,000, 5 years. This 200 is for, I saw in Riara here, it's for a term, because it's 180. If you go to Kibra, you will also find a private school inside. If you went to our villages, now you will see private schools have emerged. Nairobi alone has how many private schools? Those in the education sector. I think 1,090, because the public schools I'm told are only 212. Against a population of about 3 million who need basic education. So, where will the rest go? Private sector. Okay? I'm not saying private sector is bad, but when it comes to social goods like education, like health, a government has to ensure that service is provided. But when, because of corruption, we are suffering. Transport sector, as I take you through very quickly. Private sector has taken over the transport sector. Reason? The collapse of the public transport sector. This Nairobi, I'm told by my father, because he was here before, used to have one of the best public transport. I'm told it was called Stagecoach and KBS, Kenya Bus Service. Then somebody just decided to rob Kenya Bus Service dry. And the citizens of Nairobi just kept quiet. And then they started now using matatus. And then they went to Nganyas, and now they are in. Which one? Yeah? Now they are in. No, Uber is okay. You know Uber is, even in Europe they are there. Therefore, if you want to reach quickly and you don't like people, you want to... let me tell you. You learn a lot when you are in a public vehicle. One of my duties is to get public perceptions. So sometimes I travel public to hear what people are saying. I have left this Nairobi all the way to Miami in a bus and then back. And what I had can influence public policy. I have used a bus from Nairobi to Liboya and from Liboya and back. And what I saw, because they don't hear, what I saw can assist national security. Yesterday I came from Eldoret using the network Northern. What I had can assist So public it helps you to understand and appreciate society. Transport sector has collapsed greatly, and that's the reason why it's costly. Very costly to travel. Security. Security, has it collapsed or is still okay? For me, I would say it has not collapsed. I would say we're still fighting the fear syndrome. And we're also still looking at issues of protection If you tell me today, so and so, they are defining, you come and tell me, how do I tell you and still live in peace? Those are the challenges that we have. But there are still elements of corruption because there is an element of influence. When we go to roads, the former president in this republic, Daniel Moi, once said, watu hawawezi kula barabara, hata hizi safiri anaenda wapi na hapa na njaa. So we look at it. When a road is supposed to take 2 billion, it is written 8 billion. 6 billion that has been taken away. How many beds can it buy in a hospital? How many desks can it buy in a school? How many books can it buy in a school? How many, let me say, street children can it remove from the streets? How many houses can it construct for those who are homeless? Many, right? But remember, this 6 billion has been taken away by 1 or 2 or 3 individuals. Okay? So, the whole issue of embezzling public funds, this corruption animal, is what is making us to have mental health challenges. Because we are so broke, but you blame the state. But when you sit down and calculate your income, you start realizing, iko shida tu in terms of cost. Okay? My father earned a modest salary. He was a teacher. But what he has, I look and ask him, how did you manage to get this? Reason is with your salary, and I want you to do your maths very well. If you're paying school fees of an average of 30,000-40,000 per term, that is 120. You're paying transport for that child at about 7,000 per term. That is 21. Plus 120. That is 140. 141. You're going to hospital and you're paying about 40,000 a year. That's how much. Are you alone? No, you have not counted those given there. And then transport, you pay about 6,000 to go to work, 7,000 per month to go to work. And then because you don't have food in the city, you eat in a restaurant, you realize you're paying 5,000 per month. And then because you have a phone, you're calling and talking at 3,500 per month. Because you have data, you're chatting on WhatsApp, TikTok, everything, you're spending 1,500 for that per month. How much has it come to? 198. Okay. Where else do you spend? Funerals. You're on WhatsApp, and you can support 12 to 13 people in a year. At 1,000, 2,000. So in short, maybe you're spending about 20,000 per year. Medical. Another average of 20, 30,000 per year. Now, see where the social order has broken down. And then because you don't have a house, you're paying rent. Our parents were operating from their homes to the shamba. Others were in government houses. But here, you have a landlord who is increasing rent based on his problems or her problems. Because there's no economic explanation, right? Is increasing based on problems there. Therefore, what I'm trying to to tell you is that this social order breakdown, because of corruption, is going to eat us up, and it is eating us up already. And if we are not careful, we will not have order anymore. And as I wind up, look at the order that I'm talking about in the Nairobi city, where a person can simply, because of breakdown of law and order, can choose to sell on a road. Yeah? Choose to sell on a road. And then they do, then they become many, and then they say it is their right. And when you see maybe somebody now waking up today after about 2 years and say, all of you move, it becomes a political question. Isn't that the chaos that we are in because of corruption? I beseech you to consider that when you are talking about leadership, it is not about your community, it is not about your religion, it is not about your sphere of influence, it is about whether your right will be protected. Because even moving kwenda nyumbani in an orderly manner is a promotion of your right to health. Because if you go home and you're so stressed, you will definitely take some power. And if you continue like that, you become an addict. And soon you have kidney damage. Okay? There are so many things that I've explained to you to look at them from a corruption point of view. Look at them from the lens of where are we going if this is the way? Is it really a country? Or soon we will have now those private sectors fighting for purposes of providing social goods like water. I'm saying like water because I know it touches all Nairobians. Everybody is fighting for that cake of water in Nairobi. Is more lucrative than owning a petrol station. Because you fetch, you sell. You fetch at some small figure, you sell at, it's pure profit. With those many remarks, I want to thank you for paying attention to my practical experiences, and I hope that we'll meet again so that we share. I only have 30 minutes and I think we are done.
Thank you so much. We give you a good clap. One, two, three. Thank you so much for Wakili Martin. Unataka kusema Pepela. You said some good Pepela. You accept the chemistry. There is one story here to talk about